Hey everyone, it's Blair here at Time Trades. Welcome to your weekly video. It is Sunday, April 2nd, and we're going to start as usual by reviewing the performance of last week's forecast. You can see it here as the yellow line. I thought we would drop down into, actually, I thought we would drop down to end the week into Friday. That did not happen. But I'm going to give myself a C plus, B minus grade around there for a couple of reasons. Number one, I've been talking for weeks, almost every video, about the importance of this green line. And you can see how on Tuesday, we wicked down on the NQ to just tag that green line there. And again, this is a GANFAN that's anchored to a Mars cycle. And it's basically my bull bear line. So after that price action, the markets got energy and boosted up in what can only be described as a buying panic on Friday. So what's interesting about this is that it's creating some interesting divergences. If we go and take a look at liquidity measured by the Fed balance sheet, liquidity did not go up on Friday. In fact, it came down. So what this tells me is that this is really deployment of this big boost of liquidity that we got after the bank crisis, and managers were just catching up with the trend, and they wanted to do some window dressing of their accounts at month end and quarter end. So I really think that this was driven mostly by month end and quarter end window dressing, as opposed to a true liquidity driven move. So I think all the liquidity that we're going to see is in the system at the moment. The other thing I'm looking at is breadth, and we can take a look at QQQ breadth. I talked last week, and again, this is why I'm giving myself kind of a C plus, B minus, sort of a middle of the road rating, is because I alluded to how the McClellan summation index was starting to flatten last week. And we actually got a nice curve up. We've got a nice boost in breadth. Breadth is indeed confirming this rally up here, okay? So we see that in the NQ, and we see that in the ES, where both key breadth indexes have curled up, confirming this rally. However, what we're seeing in liquidity indicates that there's no new liquidity being added. In fact, it's being subtracted. Okay, so let's go back to our forecast tab here. And before we build the new forecast for this week, what I want to do is give a quick update on some new developments on the time trade side. Of course, this video is brought to you by Time Trades, which is the little application I built to help me display some of the timing information that I think is relevant. So what we've done this week is we've added a new partner. I'd like to welcome Matt from Inside the Candle. He's been dropping some incredible knowledge on Twitter and also on his Discord. And I'd encourage you to take a look at Matt's service. He uses tarot and astrology-based forecasting to help analyze the markets and keep you on the right side of the market. He's also a good friend of mine on Twitter. I receive nothing in return for this endorsement, but his service does go to fund a very worthy cause, the Wounded Warrior cause, something I believe in as well. So I'd encourage you to take a look at Matt, and I've got links there to his Discord and his Twitter, and it's a very worthwhile service, well worth the money. Okay, the other thing I wanted to take a look at and share with you is a new Time Trades TradingView script that I've added to the mix. So we've had a TradingView script for a long time now. I've added a second one And this one is called Time Trades Diurnal. Diurnal means daily in Latin. And this is tracking the daily motion of the planets as they move through the sky based on the Earth's rotation. This is a technique that's used a lot by Michael Jenkins. I'll drop a link to a video in the description that shows how Michael Jenkins uses this information to be a successful professional day trader. And it details a lot of very powerful techniques. So what is this showing? Because we're talking about the motion of the planets through the sky, it's location dependent. So you can choose from one of three locations here: New York City, London, or Tokyo, depending on what market you're trading and depending on the stock or crypto that you're trading. And you can also choose the planets that you want to display. We've got a total of 11 planets here. And yes, I know the sun is not a planet. The North Node is not a planet, but we just call them planets. So what I've done here is I've just limited the display to just 5, the inner planets plus sun and moon. And also there's another option here to display short labels using astrology symbols if you're fluent in astrology. Most are not, so I'll leave that off so we can see the English description. And then let's take a look at what this is showing us. So what this is showing us is right here relative to New York City. The ascendant, or the eastern horizon, is conjunct Venus. Basically, this means Venus is rising over New York City. It's on the eastern horizon. And if we track going forward in time, we can see over here that Venus is at its highest point in the sky at this time at 15:21 or 3:21 p.m. on Friday. So you can see how Venus's cycle through the sky has captured the vast majority of this big move on Friday. And things like this are not one-offs, right? These are not just one-off flukes, which is why I think this script is so important, especially if you're an intraday trader. You can also see how Mars rising also indicates a little pause in the market here. So what I like to look for, and what others look for, is does the market get energy based on planets rising or planets passing overhead? You can see here how Mercury passing overhead in New York City imparted a bit of energy into the markets. And then the moon passing overhead kind of paused things a little bit. So if we scroll back in time, we can look at a little bit more relationships. And the way I suggest you get started here is just maybe start with the 3 M's, Mercury, Moon, and Mars, and get started with those. You can see here how Mercury identified this notch down here on Thursday afternoon. And that identified this low with incredible accuracy. And then the moon identified this high over here. So this is Mercury passing overhead. Stocks got a lot of energy from that on Thursday. So if we scroll back a little bit more, we can look for some more relationships here. We can see how Mars rising indicated the short-term top of the market on Thursday afternoon. And what about what else happens here? Let's see if there's some patterns with respect to Mars rising on consecutive days. So here's Mars rising was a short-term low on Friday, but then as that passed, markets gained energy there from that. So you can see there's some big pivots and inflection points that tend to happen. And of course, this is a 3-minute chart, right? We're talking about very, very fine-grained signals. So anyways, this is a powerful new time trades TradingView script that I've added that makes it convenient and easy for you to add the information that professionals like Michael Jenkins use to trade and incorporate that directly onto your TradingView chart. So I'd encourage you to check that out. It's included, it's part of the Time Trades trial. And I think you will find this very valuable because during the beta period, myself and other Time Trades customers have found this incredibly powerful and useful. Okay, so that's it for the advertisement this week. I want to move on and take a look at NQ here on the right tab. All right, so we got a little dip down on Tuesday below our green line. It got some energy, and instead of peaking on the Gann wave yellow as I thought it would, it continued back. It continued up strongly with a surge of buying, and we're up here. We're very close to this magic level at 13,410. I think there's other similar magic levels on the ES. And Qs. Now, if we zoom out a little bit, what's interesting is we've got a pretty big divergence in one of my favorite volume indicators. This is CMF down here, Chaikin money flow. CMF is an indicator that combines volume with where on the bar price closes, okay? And what we're seeing here is that price is making a higher high, but CMF is certainly well below the highs of early February. So we're starting to see a pretty big divergence on the daily form. This isn't officially a divergence yet, but this is something that is starting to form. And this is something that indicates to me that I think last week's forecast of, one more low to go remains valid. All the other astrology factors that contributed to that forecast are still there, right? So if we flip over to Time Trades and we take a look at our charts, we can go and take a look at NDX. And what are these astrology indicators? Well, if we just go through it one at a time, starting with the sun. Now, I don't have an indicator for the solar reversal dates on Time Trades yet, but I have been watching the 10.7 centimeter flux, which is the amount of solar energy that's detected from Earth, emanating from the sun, and that's declining as I thought it would after it peaked on the 24th of March. So the sun's energy output is declining. The status of the moon is going to be 100% declining after the full moon on Tuesday night, Wednesday morning. There's a full moon at about 12:34 a.m. on Eastern time. So that's Tuesday night, Wednesday morning. And if we take a look at Gann waves here, you can see that we passed the Gann wave yellow, which is the peak of the cycle, and we're going to be declining down into the blue, which is the bottom of the cycle. So the three elements of the moon that I look at are Gann waves, which is declining, illumination, which is about to decline, starting with the full moon on Wednesday morning, and then the signs, which are already in the negative half of the sign cycle. So all three elements of the moon will be declining after Wednesday. What's the next planet? Let's take a look at Mercury. Well, we've got Mercury represented here with our short-term waves. So yellow is Mercury's speed. That is Mercury's speed is currently declining, and that decline will accelerate over the coming week as it heads into its retrograde cycle. Okay, so that's negative. You can see in the past how that has affected price. And Venus. Venus is captured here by the mass pressure index daily on the NDX, and you can see how that's dropping. This lines up with the drop that we had back in August. So if you scroll back using the mass pressure index, you can see skinny candles, the outline candles, are going down steeply here in the August 2022 timeframe. So Venus is in the same spot that it was with this August drop. So we've got a lot of confluence among the planets for a drop into April. So for that reason, I'm not going to be changing that forecast of a low in April, just based on the last few days here. What I am going to do is just make a minor little update to this arrow, and I'm going to drag it up to Tuesday, because I think Tuesday is going to be the top. So let's put it there. And we've got some other reasons for that belief that Tuesday is going to be the top. Of course, it's the last full trading day before the full moon, and also there's something called a juice spike in time trades, and those tend to indicate bullish days. So we may have another little push up here, just to create, just to tag this magic level, and then start our trip down. So the target remains the same between April 12th and April 18th. That's when the moon starts to go positive again, and that's when Mercury's retrograde cycle starts to wrap up. Okay, so that's the updated forecast that we'll be tracking going forward. This week we've got a couple big news drops on Tuesday, and then on Thursday we've got the JOLTS, or job opening number, on Tuesday, and then we've got unemployment claims on Thursday. So keep an eye on those. All right, so that's our updated forecast. Let's go and take a look at what else is happening with some of the other indexes. We can take a look at SPX here. And SPX, I'm going to just turn off short-term waves because we've covered that already. And we can see a little cluster of red up here for SPX. So that's indicating possibly the start of a move down. Interestingly, we've got a big pivot low in late June. So that's indicating the potential for maybe another, it may be a correction in a bull market, or it may be another low later on. We'll use price action to determine what that is, but at least it's looking like a correction in a bull market late June on the SPX. Okay, let's see what the dollar is telling us. Now, the dollar, of course, is key to a lot of movements. So let's maybe turn on the mass pressure index here. And what this is doing is it's tracking what happened during the last 6 or 7 Venus cycles. And we can see a bit of a pop up here in the dollar. And again, this kind of confirms our thesis of bearishness into mid to late April. So this aligns with the green probabilities of up movements in the dollar. And then there's a bit of a gap up here on April 17th. A lot of the times these gaps are attributed to just weekends, right? Anyways, the point is that we're likely to see some upward pressure on the dollar here, which of course will result in down pressure on the stocks. Okay, so that's the DXY. Let's take a quick look at crypto here. We've got Bitcoin, and Bitcoin has been very strong in the fact that the pullbacks have been very shallow, right? So that's certainly a sign of strength here in Bitcoin, we can see here how the mass pressure index is indicating only a shallow little pullback here. But then we've got a nice cluster of green starting April 11th to keep pushing it up. So Bitcoin, very, very solid. we can also see that represented in Ethereum. Ethereum has also a nice cluster of green here. The mass pressure index is maybe a little bit more ambiguous. We've got the potential for a push up here, but then it falls back heading into late April. So this is an area where the GAN fans can be very helpful. If we're able to push up and separate above this GAN fan here, this 1x1 up from the low of $1,070 on November 2022, this would be a very bullish move and sort of confirm the next wave up. However, if we slip below this lower fan, which is kind of containing the price right now, this is the 2x1 up from 0 in June 2021, then we'd be looking for a bit of a down wave down here, and I'd look for that to end kind of around where these cross, right? Because where the GAN fans cross tend to be major inflection points. So you can see how powerful these GAN fans are, and Time Trades makes it really easy to square the chart and set them up the way I've got them set up here. Okay, so that's a quick view on crypto. Let's take a look at the Nifty. Now, the Nifty last week, I said that this, let me just get oriented here. Yes, we were talking about this March 24th candle here, and how a little drop down below this 1x2 up from 0 was somewhat concerning, also because it was right at the magic level. It took about 3-4 days this week to sort of stabilize, but then Thursday we got a green candle, on Friday we got a huge green candle and gap up over this 1x2 up. Very bullish price action. Whenever you see gaps up over GAN fans, that is a trade you want to take in the direction of the move. So we've got a gap up over this GAN fan that sort of opens up this next horizon of price levels on the Nifty. So looking for another wave up here, peaking around April 13th. Okay, so that's it for me. I hope you found this useful. Good luck trading this week. Manage your risk, stay safe, and we'll talk to you again next week. Thank you. Bye now.